Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at a two-player combat card game called Omen, A Reign of War. In this game, players are going to be managing a hand of cards that feature different monsters and soldiers and oracles, things like that. They're going to be managing their income, their money, and they're going to be spending that gold in order to deploy those characters out there on their side of three different locations, trying to control those locations when a fight is triggered. There's also a bunch of different abilities on the cards that you're going to want to manage and basically turn the tide of the war here to your favor. It's a very conflict-driven game, but there are a lot of tactics as well with what you do with the cards you draw. So let's go ahead and cut to the table. I'm going to show you how this works. We'll come on back after that. I'll tell you what I think of it. Here we're going to start the game a few rounds in already. I'm going to take you through all the steps in one round, and you should have a pretty good idea of how the game flows by the end of one turn's breakdown. So the first step is the wealth step, in which I get 3 wealth actions, and I can use each of those wealth actions to either draw a card or gain 1 coin. If I do the same 3, meaning I draw 3 cards, or I take 3 coins, then I get a bonus 4th of the same kind. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take coins. I'm going to take 3 coins, which means I really get 4 coins. So I'm taking 4 coins, putting them in my pool here, and I move on to the next step, which is called the surge step. And in this one is where I deploy all the cards from my hand. Now every card in my hand is going to have a type. In this case, this is a soldier. It's going to show me 3 little circles below that. The first one in yellow, that's the cost. The middle one, that's the strength for when creatures fight. And the last one is the value if I offer this card up during the offering step. And we'll get to that a little bit later. There might also be a little bit of text at the bottom that comes into play, well, whenever it says it comes into play, and you have a keywords breakdown on one of your player aids here. So that's how that works. And then I can also, if I have any of these rewards tiles that I've taken from cities, then I can also flip one of those face up and do the power on the other side at a penalty. I'm going to lose 1 victory point for doing so. As you see, it says 2 victory points. On the other side, there's a power, but only 1 victory point. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step now. I'm going to play this Molting Phoenix, which is a beast. I'm going to play that right here to this city. I'm going to pay 3 coins to do so. 1, 2, 3. And it comes into play right there. The beasts have a power that's called Dirge. And what that means is that this power, for example, says return up to 1 oracle and 1 soldier in the discard pile to your hand. Great stuff. But the way beasts work is I can either pay the card, put it out, forget about the Dirge ability, or I can pay for the cost, do the Dirge ability, which is usually very powerful, and then discard the card. So I don't get the beast. But I want the beast out here. There's another thing the beasts do, and that is they are called colossal creatures. I'm going to put one of these tokens that says colossal on it. Very simply, that means it counts as 2 creatures. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures over here on my side. And as soon as I play that, I have brought the total number of creatures in this city to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? That means this is going to go from a peaceful to a war-torn province. So I flip that over to remind me, hey, we're going to fight right there. The province is going to be war-torn either when there is a total of 5 in a location, or when your opponent has 3 or more on their side. When it's your turn, your opponent has 3 or more. I should also mention that you cannot ever have more than 5 units on your own side of any of these provinces. So again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I could play 1 more card here as long as it's not colossal, but that would be it. That would bring me up to 5. I'm going to play 1 more card from my hand here. I'm going to play this Grim Merchant, which is a soldier. Play it there. I'm going to pay 2 coins for that. And this has a deploy power. That means it happens when it comes into play, or if it happened to move from one province to another one. It says you may discard up to 3 soldiers, gain 2 coins for each soldier discarded this way. I will discard 1 soldier from my hand and take 2 coins. I'll take my 2 coins, and that's going to be it. I'm going to stop my surge step right there and go on to the next step called the portent step. And in this one, I trigger all of the oracles in play. So I have a single oracle right here that says, portent step, draw 2 cards or gain 2 coins. I'm going to go ahead and take the coins. Then it says, discard the top card of the deck. And if an oracle is discarded, something else happens. This is how all the oracles work. Do something, discard, looking for an oracle, and if that is an oracle, do something else. So let's see. Indeed, it is an oracle, that card there. So it says, if an oracle is discarded, skip your offering step this turn. So I would not get an offering step. I'll still explain it, though, just so you know what it is. Okay, we move on from that step. That's my only oracle. And we go to the feat step, in which I could possibly accomplish 1 or more of these feat cards. Each player has an identical set of these, and they tell you some goal that you're trying to accomplish in order to flip these face down. And they're going to be worth 2 victory points if you manage to do that. In this case, I do qualify for one of them, Athena's feat, which says simply, you have at least 1 soldier in each city. I have 1 there. I have a battlesmith there, that's a soldier, and this grizzled veteran that I played in a previous round there. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to get 2 victory points. Set that aside. I don't qualify for any of the other ones. Have 5 units in a single city. You drew 5 or more cards this turn. Have at least 1 oracle in each city, which actually my opponent already accomplished right here. Because as you can see, they have 1 oracle in each city. And so on. They do that kind of thing. So I'm done with my feat step. And now we go to the war step, where we resolve any war-torn provinces. This one here is war-torn. Now we compare the total strengths on both sides. I am crushing my opponent in this case. I have a strength of 1, and I have a strength of 5 on the beast, 6, 7, 8. So I win, and I'm going to take this token, flip this back over to peaceful, and keep that. That's worth, again, 2 victory points or 1 if I choose to use the power later on in an upcoming surge step. And then I move on to the offering step, which again, I'm forced to skip this round, but I'll explain what that means. And that's where the final circle comes into play. That little blue number in a little black number in a blue circle there in the top corner. What that means is during the offering step, I can discard a card from my hand to the discard pile, and I get as many coins and or cards as the number in that circle. And that is the end of my turn. The game's going to continue until either one player has completed 5 of these 6 feats. In that case, their opponent gets 1 more play, 1 more turn, and the game's over. Or if 2 of these cities are completely empty of these tokens, and then the game is also over. And then we figure out who the winner is. We score the game up. You're going to get 2 points for each of these, or 1 point if it's on the other side. You are going to get 2 points for each of these that you have accomplished, each of the feats. You are also going to score victory points for any heroes you are still holding. They happen to have a keyword there that says that they are treasured. If you're holding them in your hand at the end of the game, they're worth a victory point. And that's pretty much it. Whoever has the highest score at the end of the game is going to be the winner. So there you go. Hopefully that is enough of an overview for you to understand the general flow of the game. I'm obviously not showing you what most of the cards do, and a lot of them are different. I'm also showing you here cards that are sleeved. But I will say the cards have a very nice back on their own. They look like that. And they do have a very nice snap to them and look good as well. With a couple of nitpicks that I'll talk about in just 1 second. So there you go. Just wanted to make sure you could see the cards outside of their sleeves. So let's go back up top. Let me tell you a little bit more about what I think of the game. So let's talk about this, okay? There are plenty of things here I like and a couple of things I wish that they would have tackled now that they had a stab at putting the game out again. And I'll talk about those things. But let's start with some positives here. The thematic ties and the setting I really like. The setting, of course, being a Greek Isles setting. It works well. And then the thematic ties with the conflict, the trickery, some of the mystical things going on. I really enjoy those things as well. I think they translate well to what is going on the board. You know, the fact that some of the more mystical powers through the oracles are unreliable because you're drawing a card and seeing if it even triggers. It's kind of like rolling a die, right? I like that. I think it is, again, thematic. It fits what's going on in the game. The game length I like. It's got a good ebb and flow to the conflicts. You know, you see these battles build. There's a clash, somebody wins, and then the troops on both sides just about are decimated, right? Now the loser gets to retain 2 units and the winner only 1, which is sort of a balancing act, but it works well. I enjoy that feeling, you know. And again, that couples really well also with pulling tricks out of the bag and surprising your opponent with them. I like the ease of play here. Now, the turns are kind of long, and it's possible if you are not being careful or there's still some unfamiliarity there, that you're kind of gonna get lost in the turn. Okay, so I do this step, and then they have funky names also, portent step, and this and that. But you have a good player aid, so that's going to assist you along the way, and that will go away with familiarity with the system. So I think the ease of play here is not too bad. And then lastly, tactics and strategy and luck, things like that. I know some folks are not going to like the luck of the oracles. The way that you have to, again, draw a card to see if they happen. But there are a lot of tactics of what you do, how you respond to things, how you prepare for things, what you deprive your opponent of in the game. There's a lot of conflict here, you know, so it is very much a game about that. And in many ways, this game feels like a collectible card game. Now, this is not a collectible game. You get the whole game in the box. That's it. There's nothing else that you have to buy. Though there is more you can buy, and in fact, I will be doing video reviews of the expansions available to the game, so stay tuned for that. But you don't have to. It's all in there. Now, a couple of things I'm not quite giving this an absolute thumbs up on is, so the first one, the aesthetics, okay? The artwork in the game I find pretty good. And again, artwork I try not to go too much into because it's completely subjective. I like it, personally, though I find the quality of the artwork is quite variable. Some of the artwork on the cards is fantastic, some's just okay. A lot of it, or let's say a good amount of it, is a little muddy for me, and that translates, unfortunately, to the playing surface, which I find just kind of muddy, where you put the tokens and, you know, where the 3 cities are. And I also thought the reworked iconography on the card frame to be a little problematic, mainly in that the 3 circles that tell you the cost and the strength, right, and the offering amount, the number is black. When that number is on the gold circle, it looks great. On the blue circle, that's fine. On the red circle, it's really hard to see. And that's the number you have to see. When your opponent has cards on their side of a city and I'm trying to figure out what's their total there versus my total on my side of that city. Am I going to win this fight? Lastly, replayability, I also find to eventually get a little samey because you are pretty much doing the same things. The feats don't change, again, unless you buy expansions. And the city powers that you are taking with those 2 VP tokens, there's only a few of those. There's duplicates of each. So I like those because they're a nice surprise of springing your opponent at the penalty of 1 victory point. And the scores here are tight. So it's not an automatic thing. You don't necessarily just, boom, want to do it because you can. So that's cool. But the feats and the way they work, they kind of force you to do everything. You know, it puts you on rails a little bit. It kind of puts the guards up, right? Because I have to, one of them is have a soldier in each city. So I might do that first. I might go, hey, look, I have 3 cheap soldiers. Boom, boom, boom. That feat is done. And you might not do it now, but you will do it later. So we kind of do the same things back and forth, you know? So it's just like checking things off a list. Oh, okay, I guess next I'll put an oracle in each city. So I got to take off that box. They put you on rails a little bit. And I kind of wish that part of it was a little more free form. So overall, I do enjoy the game. I think it's a nice, interesting alternative to collectible card games. I like the theme. I like the setting. I like what's going on in it. I like the conflict and the way that's handled. All of that is neat, with a couple of nitpicks for replayability and for the look of the cards. So let me give you my bottom line. All right, here we go. This game captures the feel of a collectible card game, for better or worse, and keeps the decision-making high while offering plenty of interaction. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 from me, which means it's going to get a seal of approval. That is Omen, A Reign of War. Thanks, everybody, for checking this out. I'm Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.